So I want to make a video on this comment because this is literally my motto. Like, this is literally my motto. Go find something to do. So something that I practice when I am praying for something, when I am persisting and literally praying for something, is I have this thing about myself where I will literally detach from like the situation. So when, especially like when me and my spouse would like get into it and I know that there's nothing I could say to kind of make him like listen to me or anything like that, I always go to God and I will literally detach from it. So the Bible tells us to literally worry about nothing. So in Matthew 6:25 through I think like 34, it talks about how why we should not worry about like the food we eat, if he feeds the birds of the air, if he clothes the lily, like why do we need to worry? And I am a person that just knows, and I put this into practice, that when I pray for something, I pray about it and then I take my mind off of it because I believe in showing God that I trust him. So the same way that we put in work, right? And we know in our minds that we're going to get paid on whatever payday that is supposed to be paid. I'm pretty sure you don't worry about that payday. Oh my God, I hope the payday is coming. You see what I'm saying? Or you're not clocking into work every day, thinking about the payday. No, because you have a knowing that you're going to get paid. So you just put your time in and then you go home for the rest of the evening until it's time for you, to come back to work. That is literally what I do. So I am a person that will be persistent to God, but I will also release it, and just to give God time to make it to do what I'm asking him to do. I used to babysit God's hand all the time, and I've learned that you do not get no movement when you just sit and worry about it. And I did that for like at least half of the stand, especially the first year, because I was just so consumed with everything going on. So especially when me and my spouse would get into it, I wasn't sure if he was going to call me back and stuff like that or whatever. I literally would go into prayer and I would pray for him and I would release it, and I would like go somewhere or read the Bible or even take a nap. These are things that I would do because I just had this belief. And if let's say that, nothing happens for a very long time, I will go back into prayer. I am a very persistent person. I believe the Bible. The Bible tells us if we pray day and night, Jesus said that God answers the prayers of his children speedily who cry out to him day and night. And if I need an answer really quickly, I'm going to go on a fast. The Bible tells us you got to read the word. The Bible tells us when you fast, it tells us you want to ask God, and God's in the word in Isaiah 58, he said, I will respond quickly. Okay. Listen, I believe that if I knew the things I knew now, I probably would not have stood that long. I'm being dead serious. But at the same time, find something to do, okay, while you're waiting on God. You do not have to babysit God's hand and look at the calendar and pay attention to how many months and how many days it's been. Find something to do if you want the answer to show up quickly, okay? Detaching is showing God that you trust him. A lot of you guys have faith, but the trust part is, I feel like, where a lot of people are lacking, where trusting is like literally walking on a tightrope that's high in the air, blindfolded. Like, you have faith that you can make it across, right? But do you trust it? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Another thing that I want to talk about in this video is idolatry. I struggle with idolatry very bad, okay? When it came to things, I I've always had a heart for God, but I've always struggled with my obedience, and I've always struggled with compromising, especially with my man, okay? And I'm being very honest with you, because I loved him so much. It was like your wish is my command type energy that I was giving. And I idolized him, and I compromised a lot of my beliefs, okay, when it came to him. You see what I'm saying? And I'm going to tell y'all, it is such a very thin line, okay? It is such a very thin line. And it's so easy to get in idolatry when you really love somebody, you know. And I know that God knows your heart, but we still have to hold the standard as believers and children of God. So we still have to be obedient, okay? So it's like, if God has you doing something, especially if you're not married, okay? Especially if you're not married, okay? This is more so for you guys if you're not married, because, you know, they're probably going to want to do things that compromise your relationship with God. And I know for me, that happened to me a lot, okay? And I remember times where so many compromising circumstances, you know, was standing in front of me, and I would think about compromising, but God would always flash the words idolatry in my mind. Like, I would always see it, idolatry. I would hear it, idolatry, you know. And I have experienced what it is like to have I just experienced what it's like to basically hurt God, because I was put in the shoes. God allowed me to feel his pain when I worshiped other things and compromised and did things that he hated. And, you know, I've experienced that with my spouse. So I make a decision not to do that to God anymore. And I've learned that if you're ever in a compromising situation, especially with your spouse, and you have to tell them no because you love God, okay, you need to pray for them, not judge them, but you have to begin to pray for them in their obedience to God too. So they might be mad because you are not compromising your relationship with God, but at the end of the day, God controls the hearts and the mind. He changes hearts and minds. So when you begin to pray for them, that anger leaves, and sometimes they don't even much care, you know, anymore. They'll just let it go and never talk about it until God works on their heart to, you know, be obedient. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I hope that this video has encouraged you guys. I hope this video has done what you needed to do in your heart and your mind, you know. So first and foremost, I do want to say to everybody who's getting the Uprooting the Other Woman ebook, that ebook produces results, okay? If you do exactly what the ebook tells you, you know, it's not a guarantee that your spouse will be back in 30 days, but you will definitely see a shift, all right, within your relationship with God, your prayer strategy. The ebook teaches you your authority, okay? There are people who have done the strategy for 3 to 4 months, and they've had movement in the Uprooting the Other Woman ebook. You see what I'm saying? So if you guys are getting that ebook, trust me, I see it, and I'm so proud of you guys who are receiving movement and growing. And, you know, it's like, Reba, I didn't know I could pray this way. Like, yeah, we get down over here. We get down over here, okay? So I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. If you do want the ebook is in the link in my bio. It teaches you how to uproot the other woman biblically, okay? Biblically, all right? We don't do no witchcraft. Biblically, you are literally praying the will of God. All right, love you guys. See you in the next video.